All right, everybody, it's 2:00 p.m. Eastern time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. This is Jared Ross. I'm the Senior Vice President of Association Services for the League. Welcome to the CUNA GAC attendee briefing. If you are looking at the slides and you can't hear anything, and you can't hear me saying this, but this is the information on how to log in onto the telephone. Please go ahead and do so if you have not done so already. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Patrick Lapine, the President and CEO of the League, to give an introduction and some opening remarks. So, Patrick.
Thanks, Jared. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, first of all, thanks for being on this call. You know, we started doing these briefings in anticipation of preparing for the CUNA GAC several years ago. So you're well prepared before you go to DC and get the most out of your visit to what has become now the largest credit union conference in the country throughout the whole year. This year, you know, we have roughly 180 credit union attendees from Florida and Alabama that will be traveling to DC in the coming days. It's hard to believe the conference is now right around the corner. And, you know, I think I probably say this almost every year that, you know, it's going to be an active time in DC. You know, just in the last couple of days, you know, you may have read in the trades, the banking trades have kind of, you know, made another push on the credit union tax exemption. A lot of this coming out of the recent letter to N2A Chairman Mark McWaters by Senator Orrin Hatch from Utah, playing off of that and really trying to divide credit unions and look at, you know, taxing our largest credit unions. So that will be of active conversation when we're up on the Hill in DC. Also, just added to the agenda to speak at the conference on Tuesday morning. I don't know if you saw this yet, but Mick Mulvaney, the acting head of the CFPB, is now part of the general session lineup. So that'll be great to hear him at the CUNA GAC, as well as our newest senator from Alabama, Doug Jones, is also scheduled now to speak on Wednesday morning. So great lineup coming together, always a great expo hall and breakouts. And, you know, as I said at our state GACs in the last couple of weeks, both in Alabama and Florida, you know, probably of all the things we ask you to do, probably the most important thing you can do for us and for yourself and your credit unions is to attend these advocacy conferences, both at the state level as well as Washington. So I really appreciate all of you who are making the trip to DC, taking the time out of your busy schedule to do that, because it does have significant benefit to us in our advocacy efforts. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jared. Sounds like someone has us on hold. So I would tell them to stop it, but they probably can't. But the Jared's a way for us to block it.
Your car, home, recreational vehicles, travel plans, pets, and more. Ask a representative about getting your quick note.
There we go. There we go. And we'll open the line up periodically for questions as we go through this. But obviously, with you know, such a large amount of people on a call, you're always going to have those type of situations, unfortunately. So, Jared, I'm going to turn it back over to you and have us have you take us through the presentation.
Thanks, Patrick. Appreciate it. And like Patrick said, you know, I just want to go through a few of the numbers. Like you said, we have about 178. It's now up to 179, as I know someone registered this morning. Attendees from Alabama and Florida. We have 15 first-time attendees from Alabama and we have 35 first-time from Florida. As of yesterday, there were just over 3,200 registered attendees for the CUNA GAC. That doesn't include guests and vendors. So we do expect there to be over 5,000 people up in DC just for the CUNA GAC. We have 38 congressional members between our two states. We have 7 House and 2 Senate members in Alabama, with our 1 new member of the Alabama delegation, as Patrick mentioned, Senator Doug Jones. And then we have 27 House seats and 2 Senate senators in Florida, like I said, bringing us to 38 members of our congressional delegation. A little bit of information just to be aware of. Senator Shelby sits on the Senate Banking Committee. He's also the former chairman. And Senator Jones has also been placed on the Banking Committee. So it's good to see that Alabama is well represented on that committee. We have 3 members of the Florida delegation sitting on the House Financial Services Committee, Florida Representatives Chris, Posey, and Ross. And then Representative Terry Sewell from Alabama sits on the Ways and Means Committee, as does Florida Representative Vern Buchanan, who also chairs the Ways and Means Tax Policy Subcommittee. So someone who's very important when we talk about tax reform and the credit union tax status. Want to remind everybody that we do have the LSCU app that includes a landing page for the CUNA GAC. If you go to your app store, whether you're on Google or Apple, and you look up LSCU, you can download the app. All of the pertinent information for the conference will be on this app. That includes our agenda, the attendees of who are there, the briefing materials, the Hill visit schedule, the hotel, all of that information will be on the app. We will also have hard copies, and I will be emailing copies to everybody, but I wanted to make sure that you all knew that it would be on the app as well as on our website. Project Zip Code, I wanted to mention, we've had several of our credit unions that have already run Project Zip Code in 2018. This is a great tool for us to be able to pinpoint how many members a member of Congress, how many credit union members that member of Congress has in their district. The information is only as good as what we get our credit unions to put in there. So as of right now, it doesn't show a full, a full picture of how many credit union members there are in the state of Florida. We have been doing a lot of work. I know Jordan and Blake have been hounding our credit unions to get them to redo Project Zip Code, so we can give our members an accurate accounting of how many credit union members are in their district. If you've not yet done it, please do so. And these are the credit unions already who have done so in 2018. Got several credit unions that have been updating this, and just wanted to give them a shout out and say thank you for making our jobs easier and making us be able to provide that accurate information to your members of Congress. Wanted to also provide you with the staff contacts, the folks who will be up in DC, and our cell phone numbers. The easiest way to get in touch with us while we're up there is via our cell phones. As you know, email can be spotty. You can text us, call us. That's always the best way to get a hold of us. Wanted to give you a snapshot of what the weather is going to look like as well. It's going to be mild temperatures, so we don't expect any snow or freezing temperatures. As you can see, last year when we went up on the hill on that Wednesday, it was rainy and it was pretty ugly out. We expect it to be in the mid-50s and sunny on Wednesday, so that's good news. You know, we should see, the high 50s and partly sunny. So we should see good weather and really good weather throughout. A little bit of rain on Sunday, but that's about it. Want to run you through just the highlights of the conference agenda and point out that where you see bold, that will be LSCU particular events. On Sunday, the conference registration is open from 12 to 7. You can see there's a first-time attendee orientation. There's a special Ed Talk session. Then we have our welcome reception, and that will be 5 to 6:30 p.m. We will have heavy hors d'oeuvres, hosted bar, and that will be in the same rooms they were in last year, the declaration rooms on the declaration level of the Grand Hyatt. And then also around the same time, the exhibit hall does open over at the Convention Center. Monday, again, it's a pretty basic schedule. On Monday, the conference registration is open from 7:30 to 4:15. The exhibit hall is open in the morning as well. Then from 9 to 11:15 is the opening general session where Jim Nussel will make his remarks, and the keynote speaker that day is former President George W. Bush. And there are some special instructions for that meeting, and I will go through those at the end of the schedule. From 11:15 to 1, the exhibit hall is open. Then the CUNA annual general meeting is later that afternoon. Some breakout sessions, and then 6:30 p.m. is the Herb Wegner Memorial Dinner, is a separate ticketed event. If you want more information on that, please visit the National Credit Union Foundation's website. And again, I will go through those special instructions for the George W. Bush meeting here shortly. Tuesday, again, same basic outline. Conference registration is open. The exhibit hall, another general session, exhibit hall with lunch, another general session, then breakout sessions. And then you'll see we will have our LSU attendee reception, where we'll have our final Hill visit schedules. That just means that if anything has changed, we'll have that information out there for our attendees. I will also email that out during the conference, so folks will get that information. We'll also be handing out our Lawmaker of the Year awards. For Alabama, it's Congresswoman Martha Roby, and for Florida, it's Congressman Ron DeSantis. And again, we'll have a hosted bar and heavy hors d'oeuvres, and it'll be in the same room, the Declaration Room of the Grand Hyatt. So look forward to seeing everyone at that event as well. And then Wednesday, they're a little bit different for us. While the conference is going on at 7:45 to 11, there's conference registration. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., we will be on the Hill for our Hill visits. Now, as Patrick mentioned on Wednesday morning, Senator Doug Jones is scheduled to speak at 8:45 a.m. For the Alabama folks on the call, we do not have any Alabama Hill visits scheduled until 10 a.m. So there's plenty of time to be able to go to the closing general session, see Senator Jones speak, and still make it up to the Hill for your Hill visit. So that worked out nicely for us. And then, of course, at the afterwards at 5:30, there's the CUNA Awards reception by invitation, and then the closing reception, 7 to 11, over at the Marriott Marquis. And then on Thursday, we always put this on here, that possible Capitol Hill visit. As of right now, we have none on Thursday. We are still finalizing a few in Florida, but we expect those to be on Wednesday. So we shouldn't have any issues, but we always put that up there just in case. So these are the special instructions for the George W. Bush General Session. When you check in to register for the CUNA GAC, overall, no matter when you check in, you will have to show a valid photo ID. Because of this, you're not going to be allowed to pick up anyone else's registration packet like you've probably done in years past. You can only pick up your own. Also, do not wait until Monday, right before the general session, to check in, because there's likely going to be a long line and you will likely miss the general session, because once it starts, nobody else is going to be allowed in. Once you are in the hall, you're not going to be able to leave and come back. So make sure that you have registered, you've got all your stuff, and you get in there in time. Monday morning, you must have your CUNA GAC attendee badge. They say that every year, and people usually can get in without it, but you will not be able to get into the hall unless you have your badge. You won't be able to bring any bags or coats with you as well. They will have bag and coat check available, but you're better off just not bringing it with you for that. There will be no photography or video allowed, so they're not going to allow you to stream it. You're not going to be able to take any pictures on your cell phone. And again, you must be seated by the time the general session begins. There will be no late attendees allowed at all. And for more information, visit the website cuna.org/GAC/security. Before I move on, I'm going to unmute the line to see if there's any questions.
Plan, grow, and succeed. The Small Business Administration's North Florida District Office named First Commerce Top Credit Union of the Year in 2014. Saying yes to local.
All right, moving on.
At least we know who's online.
I wanted to mention the QLAC sweepstakes as well. The QLAC sweepstakes is something that we work with in conjunction with CUNA to raise funds for QLAC, the federal PAC of CUNA. We will once again be selling raffle tickets throughout the event, particularly at our attendee receptions. During the receptions, you can purchase a ticket for $10. It will count toward the sweepstakes as well as toward the LSU Fed PAC. So it will, if you give 25 or more, you will get one of our pins. The levels are there below on the screen as well. We will take cash, check, or credit card. So we will have squares with iPads there to take credit card. The grand prize is a Samsung Curve 65-inch 4K television, so it's a great grand prize. But there are other donated prizes by leagues that you can win throughout the conference. We raised over $10,000 last year from our league alone. We'd love to break that record. So please make sure you come with your wallets and your generosity will be greatly appreciated. So now I want to go into the really important part of the conference, and that is the Capitol Hill visits. The Hill meeting schedules are based on your credit union's headquarters and branch locations. We suggest that everyone dress in business attire. Remember, these are business meetings, and we are there to put on the best face for credit unions. Due to some size limitations in rooms, we do ask that only the folks that are on the schedule to attend, please do attend those meetings. There are even some instances where they've asked us to limit it to 5, 6 people, and we've tried to tell them that it's difficult for us to do because people are traveling all the way to DC. So we want to try and respect their wishes and keep it as small and convenient as possible. Please see our staff on Sunday and Tuesday's receptions for up-to-date Hill schedules. We will also update it on the app, and I will, like I said, I will email those out, so you will have the most up-to-date Hill schedules. We will also have any updated issue sheets, one-pagers, if any of the issues change between now and the time we get to DC. We don't anticipate that, but it's always possible. When you go to your meetings, someone from our staff will function as a team leader. We'll kind of tee up the issue for the folks that are in there, and then we will ask our credit union officials that are there to speak on the issues and give their perspective on them. So please know the issues. We provide you with talking points, but if you have any relevant data that pertains to specifically your credit union, that's always great to bring with you. Remember, we're there to show our grassroots strength to our federal lawmakers, and please make sure that you do attend the visits. We put these schedules together. We're looking for folks when we get there. We try not to start the visits until everyone's there. If for some reason you're not going to be able to make the Hill visits, please let us know ahead of time so that we can make a note and let everybody know that has changed. Few tips: please arrive at least 5 minutes early for your Hill visits and wait in the hall until the other credit union officials arrive. You're best to wait until you see one of the LSCU staff members and they'll kind of take it from there. We've had in the past where folks have gone into meetings early, or they've gone into the office early and they're sitting on the couch and the staffer says, hey, we can take you right now, and not everybody is there. And then some folks missed out on their meetings. And these meetings are extremely important to everybody. We really don't want anyone to miss out meeting with their member. It takes away from their experience. And we truly appreciate if you follow one rule, please follow this rule, because we really need folks to get in on these meetings. We will have already provided all of the leave behind materials to the offices prior to us getting to the meetings. On Monday night, I will transmit all of the leave behind materials to the offices so that they have a full day to prepare for our folks to get there. They've seen all the talking points, the project zip code information, all of that. They will get that all well in advance. Remember to bring business cards to give out to Hill staff so they can follow up with you afterwards, and also take their business cards so you can follow up with them. As I said, be prepared, know the issues, which we will get into here shortly. Remember to take pictures, which we will do as well, but that way you can provide them in your newsletters, your website, your social media. And also be sure to follow up with a thank you to the member and the staffer that we meet with. And also actively participate in the meetings. These folks are just humans as well. Don't be intimidated. Be ready to tell your story, and be there. Be present for the meeting and have good information to share. It will go a long way. So before I go into the issues, I'm going to unmute it all and see if anyone has any questions about that. Anyone have any questions? Oh, I will move on. So these are the main legislative issues that we're going to be talking about. The first is reduce regulatory burden so that credit union members have access to more efficient and affordable financial services from credit unions. The second, enhance payment security, what we affectionately call data security, to reduce the impact that merchant data breaches have on credit unions and their members. ADA website litigation. This is one that has become a big issue of late for our credit unions in Alabama and Florida. Credit unions need to know what they are required to do in order to be in compliance with the ADA. Maintaining the CDFI funding to ensure that credit unions can continue to offer products and services to the underserved and support their communities. And then last but definitely not least, preserving the credit union tax status so that credit union members can continue to enjoy not-for-profit cooperative financial services. So I've broken these down to pretty basic talking points. There will be more information in your packets, which you will get before the end of the day Friday, so don't worry about that. But these are the basic talking points. Reduce regulatory burden. The message that one-size-fits-all regulations do not work for credit unions or their members. Also that it's a cost increase for credit unions and that member services suffer because of it. Our ask is that members of Congress support Senate 2155. It's a bipartisan, common sense, and targeted legislation that will help credit unions and small banks serve local communities. While this is a Senate bill, we want to urge the House members to support this measure should it come over from the Senate. Some key points that are included in this legislation: parity for 1 to 4 family non-owner occupied residential loans. So basically these loans, which currently count against the member business lending cap, would no longer do so, which would give them parity with the way that they are treated if this type of a loan is made by a bank. There's some relief from the qualified mortgage rule requirements. There's improvement to the HMDA reporting requirements, and there is some protection for against elder abuse, allowing credit unions to contact the proper authorities should they suspect that an elderly member is being taken advantage of. Again, there's more information on this in the actual talking points documents that you will get. Enhanced payment security, like I said, data security. Our message is that data breaches cost credit unions and their members. Merchants that accept cards for payment should be held to the same security standards as the credit unions that issue the cards. Our ask is to support comprehensive data security legislation that holds merchants accountable. We do expect there to be some legislation introduced on this issue either in the next coming days or shortly after we are there for the CUNA GAC. So this will be a prime issue for us to discuss while we're up there. Fighting predatory ADA litigation. As we know, several of our credit unions have gotten notices that they are out of compliance on their website with the ADA. You know, the best things to do are to get compliant. So to get into compliance with the WGAC 2.0 AA standards in court, we and others intend to stand up for credit unions across the country with amicus briefs. We're in the process of working on that now. Our message to Congress is to clarify what is expected under the ADA. And again, we will have talking points on what you should say to them. And then at the Justice Department, this is what we've already done. We've met multiple times with the Justice Department and urged them to finalize the rules to set the standard. So this is the information that we can bring to Congress of what we're already doing, but that we need them to do more. Maintain the CDFI funding. This has become important because in the President's recently released budget, they had zero funded the Community Development Financial Institutions Fund within the Department of Treasury. While we don't expect that to be maintained, we don't expect them to zero fund it. Our ask is that they fully fund it at the $250 million that they have for the last year. This program is to expand economic opportunity for underserved people and communities by supporting the growth and capacity of a national network of community development leaders, investors, and financial service providers. We have a number of credit unions that have received grants under this program, and should this program go away, there's a lot of good programs from the underbanked and underserved that would go away with it. And so we need to ask our folks on the Appropriations Committee to definitely continue to fund this. And then finally, again, and not last but not least, is preserving the credit union tax status. You know, as tax reform was finalized late last year, the credit union tax status did remain in place. And so we will be thanking our members, but we have to bring the message that our status is not based on anything other than our structure and mission. Our structure, we're not-for-profit cooperatives, and our mission is to provide thrift and provide access to credit for provident purposes. It has nothing to do with how large a credit union is or what products and services they offer. So we need to ask our members to continue to reaffirm their support of our tax status and continue to work with our credit unions every day to fulfill our mission. Pretty basic stuff. We've all been there before on this issue. We've talked about this issue, and it will continue to be an extremely important issue. So your 90-second talking points. Overregulation impedes services to members, but S2155 is targeted legislation that will help credit unions serve their members. Please support it. Credit unions need to enact data breach legislation Congress needs to enact data breach legislation to protect consumers' data. Predatory litigation benefits no one but the trial attorneys. Credit unions want to serve all members and potential members. Maintain current funding of the CDFI program, and credit unions fulfill their mission and earn their tax status every day. So before I move on, I will unmute it and ask if there's any questions on any of those issues. Hearing none, I will move on.
Jared.
Yes, someone was about to ask a question.
Jared, on this ADA stuff, is it basically only the online compliance that is being addressed, or?
Well, that's what the lawsuits are targeted at, is the website. There seemed to be a lot more clarity and protections when it comes to physical buildings, as well as anything else regarding the ADA, whether it be telephone access and things like that. Where there seems to be a unclear rule or lack of any guidance is on the websites, and that's where these lawsuits have been targeted.
One more item on that. The ADA is a law of the land. What other are the banks and some other institutions having the same type of issues that they're not complying with, accessibility for the disabled?
Yeah, this is actually a larger issue than just credit unions. We do know the banks have been receiving similar letters from the same group of trial attorneys. I know one of the folks who works here, her husband works in the insurance industry, and their association has sent out information on it. So this is larger than just credit unions. But we have, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like credit unions have been, the first line of attack on this issue, and it's been a much larger issue for us and other groups, at least at this point.
And we are using all the technological advances and availability of the technology to address this issue, right? Yes,
absolutely. We are working with every partner that we can think of to try and address this issue. We are, like I said, we are looking at filing briefs in court to support our credit unions. In fact, I was communicating with an attorney earlier today about that issue. So yeah, we are, every tool in our toolbox we are using.
Okay, thank you.
And then I did just receive a message in the chat that said grocery stores are dealing with this issue as well. Any other questions? All right. So the last thing I really want to talk about is remind everybody about some upcoming, the upcoming event of Hike the Hill, September 12th through 13th, when we return to DC. Hopefully we won't have to talk about the same issues, and some of them will have been taken care of by then. But we will be getting information about hotel out there shortly. But please mark your calendars and plan to join us in DC September 12th through 13th, 2018. And with that, I will open it up one more time for any questions regarding anything with the CUNA GAC.
Jared, I have a question. So for those of us that are new, attending this meeting for the first time, do you suggest that we attend the session 1 and 2 for the advocacy training? Is that what you suggest for the ones that are new?
Yeah, absolutely. I would suggest anyone that's never been to CUNA GAC before, try and take in, first of all, as much as you can. You know, I understand your schedules are going to be packed, and you're probably asked and pulled in many different directions. But anything that deals with our advocacy trainings, anything that deals with our issues, you know, like the legislative briefing that CUNA does, will be helpful. If you can make the first time attendee orientation, I would go to that. And certainly I would definitely join us for our LSCU reception, because that way, if you have any questions that may not have gotten answered, you can pull one of us aside, and we can certainly try and answer any of your questions as well.
Okay. And then you said you're still coordinating the visits for the Florida credit unions for Wednesday still, and that just to stay tuned, and once we get there, you'll have the schedule?
Yes, we have, we're waiting on 3 folks to finalize their meetings, and then we will have that, hopefully we will have that to send out to everybody on Friday. And even if it's not complete, we'll send out what is complete by then on Friday, so you can see it. If you have any particular questions, feel free to email me, and I can tell you, you know, when or whether we're waiting on that meeting. But that said, we will have the Hill visit schedules at our receptions on Sunday and Tuesday, and it will all be up on the app. Hopefully by the end of today, everything that is done will be up on the app today.
And then the packet you mentioned that we'll receive Friday, so it's an email packet that you'll be sending out to us?
Yes, it's got all the talking points, it's got the schedule, it's got our information. You will get that on Friday. It will also be on the app as well. And we will have hard copies at the receptions as well for anyone who prefers hard copies.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Any other questions? You see there's chat.
There's a CUNA GAC app itself. Should we not be using that one and stick with the LSCU one? Is that one better, since we're obviously going to be coming directly from the Florida and Alabama chapter? Would that one be a little bit easier for us to use and maybe not have all that CUNA information?
I think that's personal preference. Whatever you feel you can do. You know, some people can look at both apps. I just know that anything that is pertinent for Alabama and Florida, that if you're interested in just the specific information for our league, that will be on our app. Whereas the CUNA app is more global for the entire conference. Any other questions? Well, great. Again, all of our contact information was in the webinar. I will be emailing this out to everybody afterwards. And if you need anything in between now and then, feel free to contact any of us. And with that, we will let you all go. And we got this done in less than an hour. So great. Look forward to seeing everybody in DC, and safe travels.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.